was like a decent amateur
That's
athlete.
yeah,
you know
right.
What I mean?
Yeah.
But I thought that was very nice of him. So this is the part that killed me. So we're like checking the abs a little bit, and I'm like, I got my top two. He's like, your top two are great. He goes, that's working out. He's like, your core is strong. You have your top two abs are. He goes, the rest of it's. I'm like, I eat well. I said, maybe I drink too much wine or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm in. He's like, oh, and you're in your 40s. I said, thanks.
Yeah.
So then he pops abs. He's shredded, as you've seen veins popping everywhere. So then he goes, Andy and I decided, this summer we have a lot of traveling we're doing. We got a lot of fun events we're doing. We're just gonna let ourselves go. Let's just enjoy and indulge, and we're gonna let ourselves go. But he goes, but in the fall, we're gonna get lean. We're gonna get serious. I'm like,
wait. He's saying right now he's let go.
Yeah, he let himself
this
go.
Is
for
let
the
go,
summer.
huh?
This is let go. I was like, I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Your veins are popping through your skin everywhere on your body. Your vascularity is outrageous. You're shredded.
By the way, didn't she play volleyball at Wisconsin?
Yeah, she's an athlete.
She looks like she'd play tomorrow for the U.S. Olympic team.
She's like 6 feet tall.
Right, she
at
looks
least.
like she could play tomorrow for the U.S. Olympic team.
Yeah,
and that's letting him go.
They're going to have 4 little Olympians running around. Watch.
Wait till you see. Wait, I can't. How do you shred what they already are?
I don't know, but I think you should be working as a future courtship, planting seeds, the bold and a
oh
young
my God,
Hoff.
if it lined up,
right? Yeah, a young lady Hoff.
Jeez,
and the bold. I mean, I feel like that's
be a big win.
Jeez Louise,
be a big win. Got to get that all sorted out. I feel like we need to talk about some position battles since we have this music playing.
I'm actually having fun talking about nonsense with the music playing.
I like that. I like that too.
I kind of need a little nonsense, to be honest with you.
It's due. It's due. It's definitely due. Are there, when you talk about the bottom of the roster?
You're not going to let me do it? Okay. All right,
give me 5 minutes. I mean, the music's playing. I feel like we should justify the music being played.
We didn't ask for the music.
No, I know. It's been on for 45 minutes.
I kind of think it's I think
it's all the last half of the second hour too.
I kind of think I think it's kind of a funny bit that we're just
a bit.
We're just ignoring it or ignoring the music. All right, here's what I'll say. Okay,
just give me roster breakdown.
Roster breakdown. So quarterback. You're going to carry 2 into the season, and obviously it's probably going to be Brissett and someone else. I don't know if it ends up being Josh Dobbs or Josh Rosen. They've got to pick up their level of performance at camp right now. Although, as I talked to one personnel executive, and they said, well, third and fourth quarter, where are the good third and fourth quarterbacks at?
Yeah.
Because that's in reality what they are.
Right.
They don't exist.
There aren't any.
Right, there aren't any. So,
yeah. I mean, that's why, if you think about Chase Daniel and McCoy, these guys can hang around forever.
Because they're,
competent.
Competent.
Yeah.
Right, that's exactly the word. They're competent. So, that's quarterback. Running back, I think you're set. You're 4. Now, could somebody come calling and say, hey, a devastating injury to a guy who was going to be a star, something like that? Could somebody come calling and try to get into our depth? Possibly. But provided there is no move of that nature, you're going to have Chubb, Hunt, Johnson, and Jerome Ford. Wide receiver, our top 4 are our top 4, and that's Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Bell, Anthony Schwartz. Jakeem Grant counts in this room, so that's 5. The question then becomes Mike Woods, Demetric Felton. I don't see us going to 7, but that's how it feels right now. So there's a battle for that 6th spot. Tight end room, I think your top 4 right now are your top 4 because of Stanton's versatility to play fullback as well. But could they only go with 3 tight ends? Possible. Forrestall right now I would put him in 3rd, but Stan's having a very good camp.
Yep.
And we're going to hear from T.C. McCartney talk about the tight ends in just a little bit. So maybe even next after this fun music. No, we got Around the League next. Okay. So that's where there's some pressure there. You've got Nakia Griffin-Stewart, who's been in the league for 1 year. He, like TC, you'll hear him talk about him, move tight end, has good hands, working on the run blocking part of it. Zaire Mitchell-Payton he's a very hard worker. And then Marcus Santos Silva is the project who is a basketball player. I think he has a future here, but I don't know that we're talking about 53-man as a rookie. So you go to the offensive line. Here's where I think it actually is getting interesting. Here's who I think is on the roster today. Your 5 starters, Hubbard, Hudson, Posick. That's 8. there is a battle, and we are seeing different combinations with that second team at the guard positions. I have seen for a while it was Blake Hance and Yelda Froholt were getting the first, like where they were the guards for the second team. And then on this past one, as I'm watching the tape right now, on this past one, the guards were Drew Forbes on the left, Blake Hance on the right. I've seen Drew Forbes and Michael Dunn. So I think you've got a competition between Forbes, Dunn, Froholt, and Hance. 4 guys for 1 or 2 spots. Because Posix played guard as well in the league.
Yeah.
So there's 4 guys for 1 or 2 spots there, and I think that's interesting. Dawson Deaton, who they drafted, of course, you drafted the guy, maybe he's in the mix, but at least as of now, Dawson Deaton has been working with the third team exclusively. I have not seen him yet get any second team reps, so that would make it feel like it's going to be a little bit harder for him. So that's a pressure point in terms of roster. D-line, we haven't seen Sheldon Day yet, but Sheldon Day, Togiai are probably going for 1 spot. Defensive end, Chase Winovich, Stephen Weatherly, Isaac Rochelle, they're probably going for 1 spot right now. Winovich would be the favorite there, but that's probably going for 1 spot.
Yep.
Linebacker, you've got Tony Fields, that you would think is probably your linebacker 5, and then the question is, do we keep 6 linebackers? I don't know that we would keep 6 linebackers. You'd have 4 starters, and you really only have, the 5 guys on the roster. They would be there to play special teams. Now, Dakota Allen is a special teams guy. Willie Harvey's had a couple nice days of camp, and they love Silas Kelly, the undrafted free agent with the great hair.
Great hair.
So that's a little tough, but we're talking about bottom of the roster. I think we might only keep the 5 corners. If you do keep 6, Herb Miller, Parnell Motley, those guys are kind of maybe in the mix. Reggie Robinson, Sean Jolly, that's the 4, but I would probably say Miller and Motley right now have a little bit of an advantage. And then at safety, Rich LeCount, Javante Moffett, DeAnthony Bell for maybe 1 spot. That becomes a pretty interesting mix right there. So but this is what we're talking about. And then Charlton and Bajorquez, 1 punter will make the football team. But nothing of consequence here.
No.
And I don't know that there's, sometimes who's going to be the big name surprise. I don't know if there's a big name surprise on this team that would get cut. I don't know that that's even in the realm of possibility.
This roster has been expertly put together.
Yeah. What
is known is very well known. And there's not a whole lot of room to it. I know that it's something we do around here a lot. It's who's going to win this start. And a lot of it's sorted out. It's not real exciting, but it means you have a good football team. That's what that means. In the old days, you're saying, well, who's going to win this job? Who's going to be the starting this? It's because you don't have a very good football team. We have a really good football team.
Very good football team.
So that's why it is the way that it is. All right, coming up next, we'll go around the league. Hall of Fame game tonight. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Land on Demand is now free in the palm of your hands during the entire month of August. ESPN Cleveland, the Bath Authority, giving you fan-free access to Land on Demand for all the news you don't want to miss. Check out live in our brand new studios. They're fantastic. Replay all your favorite shows, commercial-free and on demand. Get all access to Tony Grossi's Browns analysis and more. Visit thelandondemand.com or download the app today. The Land on Demand, remodeled by my good friends at the Bath Authority. Pro Football Hall of Fame game tonight. Said it earlier this week. It's a shame that that's the way that this game is played, that you're not going to see anybody or anything. And I'm surprised that NBC puts up with it. I'm surprised. I think there's a million ways you could sort it out.
That's right.
You could go thud. That would do it. You could say, look, everyone's got to play their starters for one series and just have the understanding that nobody hits anybody below the waist or near the head. I mean, there's a million ways. We're going to have the Eagles in here in 2 weeks, and we're going to have – no one's going to get hurt, and it's all going to be fine. So, like, the notion that you can't see Trevor Lawrence tonight, at very least have the quarterbacks and the skill guys go out there.
Yeah.
That's all anybody cares about anyway. You want to protect the offensive line.
By the way,
fine. So what?
I'd rather watch if they were doing one-on-ones.
So would I. I
I'd
just
love
want to see
watch
Trevor
that.
Lawrence throw it.
Sure.
Not interested. And it's gotten so much worse. This is always the worst game, which I think it always sucks for Canton. It sucks for Hall of Fame weekend that they do it this way. But it's gotten worse. It's really gotten worse. They're used to at least they'd get you a series of the starters. They'd give you a series, but it's been a long time since you've even gotten that. It does kick off the marquee weekend for the league, and it's obviously a ton of headlines for the whole league this weekend with Deshaun. And then I'll tell you, we spent so much. We had Charles on. He's just the best. And we were talking about, obviously, the Watson stuff. And at the end of it, I asked him the question about Miami. And are you surprised, Z, that there has been no punishment for Brady in this?
No.
I mean, he faked a retirement.
Yep.
Colluded with an NFL team to become a player owner of the NFL team while under contract with a current team. That's what happened.
Yeah, that you would think that there would be some type of a punishment, but my guess is again, and this is the point I was making with Charles yesterday. There's something to it that in a situation where an owner and a player both committed a wrongdoing, the owner was held to a higher standard of punishment, which has been the crux of the argument on one side for the NFLPA and the Deshaun Watson, that owners have not been punished for sexual misconduct.
Correct.
And so they're saying, well, hell, look over here.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's fine. We got the owner.
We got the owner. By the way, what does a suspension even mean for an owner? What does it mean for him?
Games.
Oh,
listen, Dan Snyder's like not even.
Dan's
in the
like, fine. I'm in the south of France. I'm
I don't
fine.
plan
Nothing to
to-
see here.
yeah,
I don't
I
need to
don't
go.
plan to
What do
be
I
in
need to go for?
International waters.
That's it. Oh, there's Gibbe. Gibbe's here.
Well, I thought maybe you need a little help out of the bullpen here.
No, we're good.
Get you to the finish
You
line.
say.
We'd
Kick
like
your
some
feet
By the
back.
way-
Enjoy yourself.
I
want some more
believe
music.
there are 3 teams that have been docked first-round picks for various offenses over the years. All 3 involved one Tom Brady at the center of them.
Yeah, Deflategate, Spygate, and this. Although, yeah,
It's only cheating if
I
you
just
get
think
caught.
I just think it's amazing that that whole retirement was nonsense. He faked a retirement to try to engineer himself to Miami. Craziness.
That is crazy.
Who are we going to play next year in the Hall of Fame game? Who's the Hoff going in with? I feel like I'm announcing it right now. The Cleveland Browns are going to play in the Hall of Fame game next year. The question is, who are we playing against? Who's in the Hoff's class?
I don't know who's going in next year. The Hoff. That's all I care about. I'm
No,
like
I'm
a
just trying to.
Clydesdale for
Let's
the
see if
Hoff.
we can sort it out. All right, so this would be 2023 Hall of Fame class. Let's see what this gets us. All right.
See, I only have the
Revis
semifinalist
in?
name for
when's
seniors,
Revis?
coach, contributor categories.
All right. So here are your look-aheads for James Harrison. He doesn't feel like a Hoff to me. Does he have enough juice?
No,
Are there enough All-Pros there for him?
no.
Here are some of the guys who will be first ballot guys next. It's Revis.
Revis.
So
right?
it's
That's what I
Cam
thought.
Chancellor, Jari Evans, Matt Ford. No, come on. Dwight Freeney, James Harrison, Carson Palmer, Darrell Revis. and
James
the
Harrison,
Hoff.
2-time All-Pro, 5-time
James
Pro
Harrison
Bowler.
might have made the Hall of Fame based strictly on what he did to our quarterbacks and our
He had
players.
3
He was a fun
seasons-
character, but like it was
3
come on.
seasons of double-digit sacks. Once was the Defensive Player of the Year in 2008. I mean, no.
It's Revis. It's Revis and him.
Revis.
Is Freeney better? Is Freeney's case better than I think? Could he sneakily have a really
2007
good?
Super Bowl champ, 7-time Pro Bowl, 3-time first team All Pro, 2004 NFL sack leader.
So he's in the mix.
He's
He would
in the
be in the
mix.
mix as a Hoff. I don't know about first ballot.
7 seasons of double-digit sacks.
I think it'll be us against
No.
the Jets. I'm going to say it's us and the Jets next year in the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Who's
Saying
going
Zach
in? It's
Wilson.
Jags Raiders. What is it tonight?
It's Jags Raiders tonight
Who's
because of
going in?
Baselli and who's going in for the Raiders this weekend? This is not a loaded class. It's like
No.
Bryant Young. Is Richard Seymour in this class? Baselli. There's an old
Baselli
time.
finally gets in.
There's
That's
an old
Pete
time
Prisco's
guy.
Pete Prisco's so happy.
There's an old time guy that I'm blanking on from the Raiders who's going in after a long time out.
2022.
Baselli, Cliff Branch.
That's it,
Cliff
Branch. So it'll be us against the Jets next year.
Yeah.
It'll be us
Good
against
job,
the Jets.
Stevie.
That's what that's going to be next year in the Hall of Fame game, as we get to see the Hoff.
It's a bold prediction, Cotton.
I'm telling you, book it. Revis,
We
Hoff.
haven't been in the Hall of Fame game since '99 when we came back.
Revis,
Us
Hoff
and the
are
Cowboys.
going to headline
I went
the
to see
class.
it. Ozzie Newsome got into the Hall of Fame.
I remember being excited to watch that just to see the Browns uniforms again. I had no dog.
Pretty
in the,
awesome
in the fight.
It was
Just to see
an
that
unbelievable night in that stadium.
Didn't Ty Detmer? Did he get the start?
Ty Detmer.
Do I have that right?
Ty Detmer started the season. I don't know if
I
it was
feel
him
like
or
it-
Couch.
No, I don't think it was Couch because I wanted to see Couch because I didn't have it. Had no ties to Ohio
Sure.
at that point. I'm pretty sure that it was Detmer who started that game. So us and the Jets. You heard it here.
I heard it here first.
That's beyond scores. That's book it.
That's Lock City.
Buy your tickets.
Write it in pen.
Sharpie. Get it done. Elk and Elk Serious Lawyers for Serious Injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk and Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Oh, before I did miss this. The Cardinals wide receiver Hollywood Brown arrested and charged with criminal speeding Wednesday morning, confirmed by the Arizona Department of Public Safety. How fast was he going? What's criminal speeding?
I don't know.
Over
It didn't
85.
say.
Over 85?
I know. Yeah.
Jeez, come on.
What was it? 35
It's
miles an
Arizona.
hour?
Like the speed limit's got to be like 75 out there.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Montana's 80.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Wyoming's 80. I mean, I'm sure the speed limit in Arizona on the freeways is 75 or 80.
But maybe he was doing it.
As long as hopefully not residential. Don't be
Yeah,
a
right.
dummy.
Yeah.
But like if you're out on the freeway and he's driving a car that's equipped, go for it.
All right, by the
Live
way,
your
one
best
last
life.
piece of NFL news. Deontay Johnson receives a 2-year extension worth $36.7 million. He's a good player. I know he's going to throw in the ball, but he's a good player.
Yeah, he is. Doesn't seem like things are going swimmingly over there at the quarterback.
No, it's been a.
Mitchell had it, of course, and why wouldn't it?
Why would it?
Yeah.
I go back to this. Mitch Trubisky was on full display as a starter for the Bears. Obviously, maybe it wasn't
2 or
the
3
greatest
years.
system for a couple years. After that, the only team in the league that would give him a 1 year, I think it was $2.5 million, may have been 3.5, but $2.5 to $3.5 million for a quarterback is not much. Only one team would give him a contract. That was the Bills. So he signs a 1 year, basically quarterback minimum. That's kind of what it feels like to go back up Josh Allen. He backs up Josh Allen, doesn't play. Josh Allen plays, and then gets a 2-year, $14 million deal to be a starting quarterback. So when we saw him as a starter, we said, this guy can't start. Then when we don't see him as a starter and he's just a backup, we say, yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah. Great job. Good job out of you. We're going to talk some tight ends with Coach T.C. McCartney. That is coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Welcome back to Cleveland Browns Daily. Very happy now. First time on the show, talking with Browns tight end coach T.C. McCartney. And T.C., welcome. It's great to finally get to talk to you.
Absolutely. It's great to be here.
So for the people who may not know some of your background, give your background not only just as a coach that's gotten you to the point to be the tight ends coach for the Browns, but your background in the game that you love, football.
Gotcha. So I kind of grew up in the game. My grandfather was the head coach at Colorado, so kind of a coach's kid. And I played for my uncle. My uncle was my high school coach. And then I ended up playing at LSU, walking on there, earning a scholarship. Didn't play much, but I knew I was going to coach, so I always had my eyes on that. Ended up GAing there. We had a good run. We played in 2 national championships and won 1 when I was there. Ended up at Colorado for 2 years as a GA. And then I moved to Cleveland in 2014. It was my first NFL job. I was here. Then I jumped to San Francisco for a year, and then to Baton Rouge, back to LSU for a year, then back to San Francisco for 2 years. Then I got the quarterback job in Denver, and then ended up here in 2020. I was with the quarterbacks for 2 years, and now here with the tight ends. So moved around a lot, been a lot of places, but it's good to be back here in Cleveland.
So you're a football lifer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know. I've never had a real job. This is the only thing I've ever done.
It's pretty good, right? It's not a bad thing. And so you go back to 2014 when you're here with Kyle, right? And then in San Francisco with Kyle. So you are familiar, and I know when you went to Denver. Who were you with in Denver? Was it Scangarello?
Yeah, Rich Scangarello was a quarterback coach in San Francisco, and then he got the coordinator job in Denver and brought me as a quarterbacks coach. So been in this system for a long time now. We're some kind of offshoot of this system for a while.
So 8 years, started in 2014 in here. And, you know, when you kind of grow up in the game, as you said, you haven't really had a quote-unquote real job. It's a real job with real stakes, as you very well know, and a lot of pressure. But does that give you an appreciation? Is this something that you get excited to do every single day?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't know much else, but I can't imagine myself doing anything else. So getting to come out here, coach the tight ends, get out on the field, be in the sun, and then every week, when we get to the season, you get to test yourself. So it's a lot of fun.
Given that you were a quarterback yourself and that you have worked with quarterbacks in the NFL, how does that help you with tight ends? And I think probably the natural thing is, right, you're helping them to be able to see the game through the eyes of the quarterback, which is important when they want to get the football.
Absolutely. So when you're in the quarterback room, there's a lot going on. But probably second most in the position-wise would be tight ends. We're involved in every aspect of the game, and so being able to see every part of the game, whether it's protection, whether it's run game, or whether it's a pass game, in a similar vein to the quarterback, it's very similar.
Why do you love this system, and why do you love it for tight ends?
I think this system is put together well. Things complement each other, but it has a lot of diversity, so it can look at a lot of different ways. And so with the tight end position, we can use guys in a whole bunch of different ways. Whereas you watch other teams play, they might not be as diverse in scheme, but we're able to take advantage of guys' strengths because we can put them in all sorts of different positions. So I think we can, what's the word I'm looking for, feature guys better in this system. So whatever position it is, in the tight end room, we can feature whatever you do well, we can get you on the field and do that.
Relative to San Francisco or maybe even in your time in Denver, with, for example, having a Bill Callahan here, are there more concepts in the run game than maybe in other places where people say it's just that pure outside zone game? We do a lot of pulling, we do a lot of pin pull, a lot of those kind of different, run techniques. Is that different here, or is that something that everybody does?
It's definitely different here, and I think the other teams are starting to adopt it. The other teams that run the system are becoming more diverse in the run game. But when I got here, I learned a ton from Coach Callahan and really everyone here about different schemes. So we pair the wide zone with a bunch of other schemes that can complement it. So it's been obviously really good for us the last 2 years, and we got to keep evolving. But we've done some things well the last 2 years in the run game.
All right, let's talk a little bit about some of the guys in your room. And I actually was talking to David Njoku, who obviously now he's the man. Got paid to be the man. This is his year. Former first-round pick. Incredible natural athletic gifts. Hard worker. He's become a great blocker. But he said that you guys had a good relationship even before you became the tight end coach. So you guys would always kind of get along and joke around and stuff. So how did that relationship start with the Chief, and then how is it now that your guys are in the same room together?
Yeah, so me being in the quarterback room for 2 years, we're kind of involved with with everyone. So I got to know, almost all the offensive guys over the last 2 years. Me and Dave definitely had a good relationship. Again, it's fun joking around with him. And then just talking routes, talking football, talking life. So over those 2 years, we developed a relationship. And then now it's been an easy transition here. Now that I'm in the room with him, we know each other, we trust each other. So when I tell him something, he knows that I have the best interest at heart.
I like the fact that he feels like some people, they get paid and they're like, all right, I've made it. And he feels like I need to justify this, and he's ready to have a monster season. What's unique about his talent, and why do you think he can have a great year here in 2022?
I mean, he's super gifted. So there's not a ton of guys who are that big, who can run that fast, and are as good a blocker as him. So, again, we can use him in so many different ways, whether it is pass protection, which he's had a lot to do, or whether it is gap schemes or wide zone. He can do all those things. But he's also can stretch the field. He can also, he's developing as a route runner, and he's got a chance to be really, really good. He's really good with the ball in his hands. So we have a lot of ways to use him, and I'm excited to see all the different ways we use him this year.
Me too, and he's darn good in the red zone. Just throw it up and go get it, play a little jump ball.
Absolutely. Let's get him some touchdowns.
Is that a quarterback's friend when you have a guy like that in the red zone where look, if I just put it up where only he can get it, we have a chance either to be a touchdown or an incompletion, that's really what you want down there.
Absolutely. When you guys have catch radius is the term people use, but he's got long arms and he can jump, so you can throw it pretty much anywhere. He can go get it, so that's always nice.
All right, let's talk about Harrison Bryant. So 3 touchdowns in each of his first 2 seasons. A guy who played some tackle in high school and then goes into college, wins the Mackey Award. First guy ever to win that from a non-Power 5 school. Natural route runner. How's he progressed? And now, you think Chiefs bumping up? He's bumping up too. He's going to be the guy in those 2 tight end sets and the guy that probably can be a weapon in the slot and is a move tight end.
Yeah, absolutely. So Harrison should get a lot more opportunities, in the pass game and really doing everything this year than he has the past 2 years, which is going to be good. I don't think people have seen the full arsenal he has, and we're really excited about him.
There was a play, I think it was 2 days ago when you guys were doing, it was 2 days ago. It was the first day back. We were doing situations like it was 4th downs, 4th downs, and he ran a jerk route that was nasty.
Absolutely. So we've been working a lot on, trying to gain separation, using different techniques, and he's one of the best that I've been around and being able to do all these different things, especially for how big he is. So it's going to be a fun year watching him play.
All right, now we're in the guys that you probably have a little extra affinity for, the quarterbacks who are now tight ends. Miller Forrestall, who obviously was same high school as Trevor Lawrence, and no shame in, I guess, losing your quarterback job to Trevor Lawrence, now here as a tight end with the Browns. How has he kind of developed? And it feels like he's had a nice start to his camp.
Absolutely. He's been really good for us. He's a really smart guy. He knows what to do. So it feels like he's kind of an older player than he actually is. He's put on a lot of good weight, a lot of good strength. So he's had really good spring, really good start to camp, and I'm excited to see him in some preseason games, let him play football a little bit.
And on some teams, right, the third tight end, you're like, okay, yeah, you're the third tight end. You're really not going to play unless there's an injury. You're probably going to play nothing but special teams. But here, and I might imagine with Deshaun at quarterback, it would be less. But we do run some of that 13 personnel. We'll get the 3 tight ends on the field together. And so there is a role that Miller could play if he can win that job.
Absolutely. Whoever the third tight end is, whether it's Miller or somebody else, they got a really good shot to be on the field, to make an impact on our team and help us win games. We probably put third tight end on the field as much as anybody in the NFL. So he's got a chance, and he's definitely got the skill set to do it, so I'm excited.
Let's talk about another former quarterback, Johnny Stanton, who's been a quarterback, he's been a fullback, he's been a linebacker, and now working in your room as a tight end, and a guy that has that diversity of skill set. He can line up in the backfield if you need him to. And yesterday had a good day, I think, out here. Caught a bunch of balls. What have you seen from him in his development going to a position that he did a long time ago but is now trying to do again here in the NFL?
Absolutely. In the spring, kind of transitioning to tight end a little bit. We're still going to get him in spots that familiar to him, but he's got the skill set to do these things. He's been doing them for a while now. He knows this offense, so it's about putting him in a couple different positions and then some familiar positions for him. But yeah, I had a great day yesterday. I caught 5 or 6 balls, some really big plays, so been doing really well.
Has he kind of taken naturally more to the route running, maybe faster than you might have expected? Because the blocking, that's going to come for him, right? That's something that he's been doing his whole career. But it feels like he has an knack for getting open, and he catches the ball pretty naturally and cleanly.
Absolutely. He's got really natural hands. We saw that even in the past 2 camps. He's had to spot play tight end a little bit, and he made a lot of plays. So I think it was a natural transition for him to get out in space and do that a little bit more.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it was preseason against the Giants last year. He played tight end because we were down, I think, like everybody, and had a couple catches. I think 33 yards, a couple catches in that one.
Yeah, absolutely. He's flashed the past couple of years the ability to run down the seam, to make plays with his hands, run after catch. So it's been good.
All right, so we're through 4. There's still more competition, and that's what's great about the National Football League. Let's start with Marcus Santos Silva, trying to follow Mo Alley Cox's footsteps, his teammate at VCU, basketball player. You can see he's just a natural athlete, and it looks to me like he catches it pretty naturally, like he's been doing it for a while. How is his development coming, and is he somebody that you could see having, a bright future down the road?
Absolutely. So it's always hard to transition to a completely new sport. I mean, 2 months after he's hitting free throws to go to the Sweet 16, he's in an NFL tight end room. So he's got a lot to learn, but he's been doing really well. He made tons of improvements from when he first got here till now. Browns fans, go watch his basketball highlights on YouTube. They're pretty cool. You can see how his footwork and how athletic he is. And so a lot of work to do, but the talent's definitely there.
So a good piece of clay. How's the blocking? I'd imagine that would be, he's used to blocking with his butt, right? Blocking people out to get rebounds, and now all of a sudden you're blocking somebody that's in front of you with your leverage, your arms, your legs getting low and all of that.
Absolutely. It's a hard transition for anyone, but it's really hard when you line up across from Myles Garrett and Clowney and these guys. So a lot of technique work to do. We got a lot of work to do there, but he has really heavy hands, and he's gained a lot of weight, and he's been doing really well.
What can you tell us about Nakia Griffin-Stewart, one of the young men, and then there's also Zaire Mitchell-Payne, 2 young undrafted free agents who are coming in here trying to compete and make a role for themselves?
So Nakia, he's been in the league a little bit. He's got some knowledge of what we're trying to do. He's been in this system a little bit, so he has good base of what we're doing. He's really good in space. Okay, he's a really good route runner. Hands, really good. Pass game, he's done a lot of good things for us. Now we're transitioning. Getting him in the run game, getting him doing some things, and he had a good day yesterday, being physical. I don't even know how many pass plays I had him in for. Like, we were getting him in the run game, and he's done well. He's versatile. He can play some different spots in a similar vein to Harrison. And so getting him just more reps, letting him play. In the spring, it's been a little different without, we don't get pads. Sure. So we got to see him, in preseason games, playing, hitting, running and catching, and I'm excited to do that.
And then Zaire Mitchell-Payne, who I've seen make a couple of grabs here so far in camp. But what can you tell us about him and his game?
Yep. Undrafted rookie, came in here and is a really hard worker. He's come in, he's a big guy, a lot of length, a little raw, but he's got a lot of ability, and it's definitely a name to watch. He's going to develop really fast because of how hard of a worker he is. He's going to contribute in both the run and the pass game. He's made a ton of improvements since he got here, so I'm excited to watch him.
You mentioned kind of in the spring, you were in the pass game, but you were in either the quick game, the deep game, but you weren't in the play action game. And I imagine in your room, that's something that is a big part of what the tight ends do, right? They get involved a lot, especially in the boots and the misdirections, getting kind of those little crossers. You really can't do that in the minicamp because everything that was done in the OTAs was quarter speed when it was team. It was basically 7-on-7 camp. You're passing the ball, and there's really not going to be a play action off of that. How has that been for your guys finally getting that work now? Pads come on yesterday, getting that actual play action game work that's going to be a big part of what they do this season.
Yeah, it's been really good. So we've been talking about these concepts. We've been learning them schematically for a long time now, but this is really the first time we get out there in full speed, make contact, and work on these techniques. And so, again, a ton of work, but it was a good start yesterday.
There was one play I wanted to ask you about where it looked like Miller's responsibility would have been to block Myles. Myles dropped kind of into the center of the D, and I don't know if he was spying. I don't know what he was doing. But was it his job to block, and then if not, if he didn't rush, then he gets to release? He ended up making a nice little grab right across his face and making a pretty big play there.
Yeah, he was going to release no matter what. We might have chipped through Myles to help the tackle a little bit. Myles ended up dropping, and we were running a shallow route, and he made a nice play, ran right through the ball, caught the ball away from his body with his hands, ran right through it. So it was a good play.
When the pads come on, that's a big day for your room. Were you happy? Because we keep talking about it. Oh, he had a nice day yesterday. He had a nice day. So a good day for your room overall.
Absolutely. We challenged the whole offense, really, going into it. We didn't have a great day the day before, and then we put the pads on, and we expected to see, the biggest thing was finish. And I thought the whole offense, but especially those tight ends as well, were finishing yesterday. So it was good to see.
Now, as a former quarterback, do you enjoy the portion of practice where you get to just sling the ball around to the tight ends?
Oh, absolutely. I love throwing it around. But you know what? What I've learned since my time in this system is the best way to throw it is to play action, and to do that, you have to be able to run the ball. So if you want a bunch of catches, if you want easy catches and big plays, then the best way we could do that is be really good at blocking.
Yeah, we even saw a nice little tight end screen a couple of days ago to the Chief. That was a big one that was set up off of a little play. There was a lot going on that play. We don't need to get in all that for those trying to get information here. But for you personally, what's it like having your own room like this with the guys? And think about now, you've talked about in the past, you've worked with some O-lines, you've done with quarterbacks, now with tight ends, building your skill set. And I know it's something Kevin Stefanski wants you guys to do, kind of because at some point, right, you want to go be an offensive coordinator. You want to go then become a head coach. And so getting that diversity, is this really fun for you?
Absolutely. It's kind of being able to put all the different aspects you learn about a scheme together into one room, whether it's in the run game blocking, whether it's pass protection scheme, or whether it's pass protection technique, route running, catching the ball fundamentals. All those things come up in this room. So it's been a lot of fun. I feel like I've been trained really well by the guys I got to work under, including the guys here. And so felt really ready for this opportunity. And, I really enjoy the guys that we have in the room. I mean, that's the most important part about coaching. It's the reason that you deal with 18-hour, 19-hour days because you really enjoy the people you work with. And so that's been, the most fun part.
And it's in your blood. I mean, I think it was almost destined that you would be sitting here.
I think so, probably so. Again, I've never even thought about doing anything else. So,
all right, last one for you. Who amongst the staff, non-players, who has the best arm? You, I'm guessing.
I mean, yeah, someone's going to have to show me if they're better than me at throwing the ball here on staff. I can't think of anyone right now that could. Ashton Grant's trying to be. We'll see. He gets to throw a little routes on air this year, so we'll see.
All right. TC, this was a pleasure. Great talking to you. Happy to have you on staff. Congrats again on this opportunity in the Tide Room. I'm looking forward to seeing your guys go out there and dominate this season.
Absolutely. Appreciate having me. Should be a fun year.
It's going to be great. All right, we'll be back with more Cleveland Browns Daily right after this.
Keyshawn.
Underway, and the Browns 50-50 raffle is now open. Go to the Browns mobile app or browns5050.com to purchase your tickets. The raffle ends on Sunday, August 21st. Don't miss your chance to win big while supporting the Stay in the Game network and shoes and clothes for kids. I will definitely watch some of the preseason game tonight. I'll have it on. Put it on in the background. Pay a little bit of attention.
Why
It'll
not?
have my attention for a half hour, 45 minutes.
Why not? Also, the debut of Matthew Berry on NBC Sports.
What's he doing?
Just announced that he's going to be there doing. He's going to be on Football Night in America doing fantasy football and betting content, and a bunch of other stuff.
The
I
betting
mean, it's a
content
huge
makes
thing.
all the sense in the world. The fantasy football stuff's done by the time you get to Sunday night.
Right.
When was the day for you on that? Was it third? When was the big day? Would it be the waiver day that was the big day when you were in that business? Or
No,
or
it
would it be the
was
start
it
them,
was
sit 'em?
Sunday morning.
So Sunday morning, start them, sit 'em.
leading up to
Yeah.
the kickoffs. Yeah.
We used to do, when I first did radio, first stint I had it down in Columbus, we would do this. It's not like we were experts on anything, but I guess we were as experts as some people can be. And we would do this thing where we just do start them, sit. You'd have 1,000 calls as if we were some sort of authority.
People want to be guided.
It's like, what do I know, man? Just a dude on the radio.
So would you give like a rationale, or you would just be
No,
like,
I made a mockery of it. Like
see, I
sometimes
was very
well, no,
serious
you had a
about it.
business. I mean,
Yeah.
I made a mockery of it. I was like, I would pick them on which school I liked better.
30.
If I thought whoever guy I thought wore a cooler number, like I would do.
That's actually a good criteria.
Yeah, I made a complete mockery of it. So because I wasn't an expert in it, and I made fun of the fact that I wasn't. Why would you be calling me, you idiots?
Yeah.
Call Nathan Segura. He's the expert. Next level's next. We're back tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
You've been